Chapter 569, Marriage Proposal by Four Powerful Great Saint Families. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Cayenne's Yui Commandery Prince and half-Saint Liu stood side by side right at the front. They were Huang Yanjin's parents, but they were actually not expected to come out and receive Zhang Yuochen since they were the elders of the family. However, Zhu Hongtao and Wonk, who were escorting Zhang Yuochen, were famous superiors in the eastern region. Their power and seniority befitted the branch head of half-Saint Liu's tribe to welcome them in person. Apart from the family's leader, each of the 8 major branches and 72 tribes had its own branch head. The branch heads made up the high-level management of the Chen family. Each branch head was the leader of a tribe, in charge of its management. The branch head of the tribe to which half-Saint Liu, Huang Yanjin, and Cayenne's Yui Commandery Prince belonged was half-Saint Liu's grandfather, who was also Huang Yanjin's great-grandfather. His name was Chen Ji. He was almost 200 years old and was one of the superiors in the eastern region. However, due to old age, he now seldom went out in public. The marriage between Huang Yanjin and Zhang Yuochen signified the union between the Jins and Sword Saint Xuanji. Therefore their wedding was a significant event. For this reason, Chen Ji, as the branch head, had to preside over the entire event no matter what. Second and third elder brother apprentices Zhu Hongtao and Wonk walked right at the forefront of the company. Zhang Yuochen, being a junior, naturally fell in behind the 2 elder brother apprentices. Wonk had a relatively stable personality. He was cultured and well-mannered. Even when he was still some distance away, he saluted with his hands folded and respectfully greeted Chen Ji. Consequently, a smiling Chen Ji, who was holding a walking stick, took 3 steps forward and saluted back with his hands folded, saying, "Half-Saint Wonk and Saint Hongtao, there is no need for you to stand on ceremony with me. Since we will be in-laws from this day on, we may do away with all the formalities. We don't want to act like strangers." Although Chen Ji was much older than Wonk, his level of cultivation could not even compare with Wonk's. In the realm of the Holy Road, Wonk was at a slightly higher position than Chen Ji. Beside Wonk was Zhu Hongtao, Zhang Yuochen's second elder brother apprentice. Although Zhu Hongtao was not human, he was still the Sword Saint Xuanji's second disciple and had lived over 600 years. Therefore his level of cultivation had reached the saint's realm. In terms of seniority, Zhu Hongtao's position as a saint far exceeded Chen Ji's. For these 2 reasons, even though he was a branch head representing the Jins, Chen Ji was careful not to be negligent in any way before these 2 people. One glanced at Zhang Yuochen, smiled and said, "Since our junior fellow apprentice is here at the Jins to present his bridal gifts, rightfully our master should have accompanied him. However, he had some matters to attend to at the last minute, therefore my elder brother apprentice and I have come on his behalf. I hope predecessor Chen Ji wouldn't mind." Chen Ji was aware that Wonk said these words as pleasantries. If Sword Saint Xuanji had been the one accompanying Zhang Yuochen, by virtue of his status and position, the head of the Chen family would have had to come out to receive them. Smiling, Chen Ji said, "Let's go into the house first so we can discuss the wedding of these 2 youngsters in detail." "This way please." The East Region Saint Mansion's western gate slowly opened, making a buzzing sound. Moments later, the 2 bronze doors of the gate, weighing 1,000,000 catties each and filled with carvings of dragons, were fully opened. They opened up to a 40-foot wide jade avenue leading all the way to the depths of the mansions. At first glance, it looked like one would not be able to see the end of the Jade Avenue from that point. Chen Ji, Wonk and Zhu Hongtao led the way while half-Saint Liu, Cayenne's Yui Commandery Prince, Zhang Yuochen and Huang Yanjin followed closely behind. Seek Singkong and Chang Kiki were right at the back with the 10 carriages of bridal gifts and dowry. The line of people chatted and laughed as they headed for the main gate. In the distance, 2 elders stood at the top of a 12-story purple gold tower, looking over at the bustling scene outside the west gate. The green-robed elder shook his head and sighed. Elder Chen Ji is so fortunate to have one of his descendants marry a Sword Saint disciple. Because of this marriage union, I fear his tribe's opinion and words would carry more weight than those of ours from now on. This is so true. Chen Ji's tribe is one of the bottom tribes among the 72 tribes in the Chen family. However, now they are backed by the Sword Saints. and they have in their midst Zhang Yuochen, who is God's favored son of this generation. I can't reconcile with the fact that their position gets to rise to the top so easily. There was a chilling light coming from the eyes of the white-robed elder. His withered hand held on to the hard railing of the purple gold tower, leaving an impression on it as if it were made of clay. Both the green and the white-robed elders were branch heads of the Chen family, and they were both stronger than Chen Ji. The two elders were naturally disgruntled about the marriage arranged between Chen Ji's tribeswoman and the Sword Saint disciple because this would disrupt the balance among the 72 tribes of the Chen family. Within the Chen family, some were rejoicing, some were worried, and naturally, there were those who were jealous. Rumble. From the horizon, 4 teams of people on their carts and carriages were seen hurrying toward the west gate of East Region Saint Mansions. A clear, loud voice came from one of the teams, saying, "We, Saint Xu Gentry, are here to propose marriage to the East Region Saint Mansions." Subsequently, 3 more voices rang out in quick succession. "We, Saint Xi Gentry, are here to propose marriage to the East Region Saint Mansions." "We, Saint Zuo Gentry, are here to propose marriage to the East Region Saint Mansions." "We, Saint Shen Gentry, are here to propose marriage to the East Region Saint Mansions." Moments later, the carts and carriages belonging to the 4 powerful great saint families gathered outside the west gate in a row. Each team was immense, made up of thousands of people with 500 carriages of dowry pulled by 500 savage beasts. Zhang Yuochen's 10 carriages of bridal gifts and dowry seemed stingy compared to each of the team's 500 carriages of bridal gifts and dowry. The 4 great saint families had always been at loggerheads with Zhang Yuochen. Today, they had chosen exactly the same day to come to the Chen family to propose marriage with a dowry 50 times greater than that of Zhang Yuochen. Anyone could see that they were here to make trouble. Chen Ji's branch of the Juns, as well as Zhang Yuochen and his company, were clearly displeased. In contrast, some tribes in the Chen family looked as if they were enjoying watching their predicament. What a surprise! The 4 powerful great saint families have come to propose marriage to the Juns on the same day. I wonder which God's favored daughters they have their eyes on. As a Sword Saint disciple, Zhang Yuochen only prepared 10 carriages of dowry. On the other hand, each of the 4 powerful great saint families prepared 500 carriages of dowry. They are obviously here to humiliate Zhang Yuochen. The 4 powerful great saint families are incredibly rude to come and mess with the East Region Saint Mansions. What outlaws they are! Aren't they aware who the Lord is over the Eastern region? Since the 4 powerful great saint families were here to propose marriage, the Juns had to receive them in a manner befitting an aristocratic family in the Middle Age and not offend them. Chen Ji went forward to receive them on behalf of the Juns. As he looked toward the team from Saint Xu Gentry, he spotted Demi Saint Sandao in one of the luxurious carriages. Chen Ji said to him, "What a surprise to see you, Demi Saint Sandao. You actually came personally with such immense gifts. May I know who you are proposing to?" Demi Saint Sandao emerged from the ancient carriage, saluted Chen Ji with hands folded, and smiled as he said, "You may not be aware, Brother Chen Ji, that a Saint Xu Gentry Jr. has fallen in love with a talented daughter from your family. Today, I have come with him to propose marriage to your family." Chen Ji's face fell. Chen Ji was very much aware of the grudges between Zhang Yuochen and the 4 powerful great saint families. He didn't believe that their intention for coming here was to propose marriage to the Juns. Why had the great saint families come to mess with this wedding? It is outrageous for Saint Xu Gentry to come here openly to make trouble. Is it trying to steal the bride? Aren't Zhang Yuochen and Huang Yanchen engaged already? It is grossly inappropriate for the 4 powerful great saint families to propose marriage to her. Even if they are not here to steal the bride, they must have intended to provoke Zhang Yuochen. Didn't you see the 500 carriages of dowry and gifts each of them brought? The members of the Chen family started murmuring among themselves after they heard Demi Saint Sandao's words. Zhang Yuochen, who was standing at the rear, tapped his chin gently as if he was hesitating. He did not know whether to laugh or not. Saint Xu Gentry was one of the most stubborn families he had ever come across. It had sent 2 disciples into the battlefield of primitive world to kill him, but they ended up getting killed by him instead. Are they still not going to give up? From the looks of it, They must have been infuriated by the humiliation. No one could guess what they intended to do at this moment. Demi Saint Sandow looked at Zhang Ruochen's 10 carriages of dowry with disdain. In a mocking tone, he said, "Brother Chenji, the 500 carriages of dowry and gifts I brought are all priceless treasures. If this marriage proposal is accepted, I will send another 500 carriages carrying spiritual crystals to you." Chenji quickly said, "It is not about the dowry. The crucial thing is..." Before Chenji could finish his sentence, Demi Saint Sandow continued speaking. "I understand, and please be at ease, Brother Chenji. This marriage proposal is coming from Saint Xigentry's most excellent young man." Zhi Hongtao had been holding in his dissatisfaction until he could no longer bear it. He gently pushed Chenji behind him with his arm and said, "Elder Chenji, please stand back and let me reason with him." Chenji was familiar with Zhu Hongtao's barbaric temperament, so he did not get angry and retreated instead. Allowing Zhi Hongtao to deal with the situation was the wise thing to do, since Chenji did not wish to offend the 4 powerful great saint families. Zhi Hongtao, standing 4.3 meters tall, stood before Demi Saint Sandow and bellowed, "What do you want? Demi Saint Sandow, do you intend to steal the bride?" As Demi Saint Sandow lifted his head to look at Zhi Hongtao, he began to fret a little. Why did Sword Saint Xuanji send Zhu Hongtao to come to the Juns? Why did Zhu Hongtao, who is in the class of saints, have to be involved in such a trivial matter as the marriage of these youngsters? The 4 powerful great saint families had all thought that, at most, a half-saint class senior brother or sister apprentice would accompany Zhang Ruochen to the Juns to present the dowry. They had not expected Zhu Hongtao to appear at Zhang Ruochen's side.